Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He no longer needs to prove himself. He's just like, I'm here to play the cards I love and have some fun with people that are awesome. That's it.
These guys are definitely having fun up on that stage. You love to see it. Two characters that we have on stream right now.
All right, Sam will be starting off. Let's see what he's got. He's going to be just immediately going for the
Just
fusion
going.
summon of Phantom Yubel, trying to insulate himself from all the potential interactions that Alexander could have in the hand.
Yeah, this is a common way to play, especially when you already have another normal summon setup. So you have the two Samsara D Lotus. Might as well just summon that Phantom right away, and now we can go into the rest of the Yubel cards.
Oh my god.
Just great stuff there. So it looks like we're going to go ahead and get the Spirit of Yubel.
I mean, I know you're good, but...
Spirit Yubel going to be searching for probably that Nightmare Pain to help continue the classic Yubel combo.
Nightmare Pain, there it is. So you set it to the field, you activate it, you can destroy one of your dark monsters to then add a card that mentions Yubel from the deck to the hand. But the benefit, of course, we've all seen this before, you destroy a Yubel monster, it will summon another Yubel monster, so...
Yep, just making sure we clarify. I don't know if Alexander was joking or not, just to torture Sam here and forcing him to explain the card.
He probably wasn't watching Worlds. You know?
Yeah, hey, it's a new format, you know.
out.
People haven't played Yubel in a while.
He
Definitely
spent
brings a smile to
the
my
last 72 hours only looking at Ryzeal combos, so everything else has left his brain.
He's like, Alexander's like, Sam, are you going to be playing any XZ monsters in this duel? No?
I don't understand.
I'm going to need to read them.
Oh, he's probably playing at least one. Typically, Yubel would have
Rudris, you're right.
Rudris is a very
rank
strong
10.
card.
Yeah.
I love the banner between the duelists. You could just tell that they're very comfortable up there. They probably met each other before and they're having a great time. And
Yeah, what are we even doing here? We should just let the...
yeah, just let them talk. But it's true that, you know, Alexander has that Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit in his hand, but there's just not really a good time to use it, right? Because you don't really want to destroy Yubel cards anyway, especially when you're staring down Phantom Yubel and its ability to change the effect to something that benefits Sam more.
I mean, it's great to use against Phantom Pain, but when that Phantom of Yubel's already on the field, yeah, there's just no way. Or that Nightmare Pain there. So now we're going into that Fiendsmith side of the Yubel deck.
And here we just see the power of this Phantom of Yubel. Even if Alexander did have an interaction like the Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit you mentioned, and that was actually useful, one that could actually stop this turn, like Baylor, like Imperm, or what have you, Sam could just stop it, unless it's Imperm specifically, of course.
Yeah. You really do need, like, two different interactions to fully stop the Yubel. One is almost never going to work unless it's something like the Infinite Impermanence and they didn't draw a strong enough hand, but Sam drew a very strong opening hand for the Yubel deck, and also winning the die roll means that this game number one, very solid setup to start, and it's going to be on Alexander to try and actually play through the field that Sam's going to assemble here.
Well, we certainly get to find out who was right. Is Yubel relevant to this tournament or not? And just a strong field, though, from Sam, as now we're seeing maybe a Fiendsmith Requiem show up.
I mean, just the amount of resources Sam has access to in his graveyard right now just means that throughout this turn he's going to be able to just keep going. I mean, I think he can summon, if he wanted to, another copy of Phantom Yubel at pretty much any point.
Love Lacrima for the combo / disruptive capabilities, of course. Does a lot of things as its own card and setting up other cards to take over a game.
Here we have Necroquip. We still have the Gruesome in hand, which means we will be able to get the draw, I believe.
The activating a card.
Oh, no,
effect to hand
Gruesome.
for sure.
Gruesome is in the graveyard already. What did we add to hand with Lacrima? We didn't. We sent Engraver. Okay.
Sent, that's right.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And now we're going to bring that. Got it.
Which I'm wondering, have we gone through the Fiendsmith in Paradise yet? I don't know if that... I don't
Not
think
yet,
that's
no.
been set up, yeah.
That probably is a new inclusion in a lot of the Fiendsmith Yubel decks because they've just seen how powerful it is in a more of a pure Fiendsmith strategy.
Yeah.
But whether or not Sam has access to it during this combo line depends.
That's a
he's
good
gonna be going for
question.
the Unchained cards here.
Yeah, would the Yubel version actually be playing that? Do you have the space for it?
I mean, it probably gives you like good insulation in case your main Yubel combo gets stopped and makes your overall Fiendsmith combo a bit more powerful, but
Yeah.
you play way less Fiendsmith cards than like a pure Fiendsmith deck. Like I think on average it's like one Lacrima, like 2 Engraver, 1 Track, so it's like way less cards.
And the thing about the Yubel deck is that there's a lot of cards that you kind of don't want to draw, and so that's just another card that you kind of don't want to draw, not all the time. So
I don't know that Sam was so concerned with hand advantage. Remember, this turn started off with just pitching 2 monsters to bring out that very powerful Phantom Yubel, and it absolutely was the right decision. But it shows you that he's less concerned about card advantage, and he just wants to put as much interference as he can for whatever it is that Alexander is playing. And since they do know each other so well, he probably does know what Alexander's playing.
1000%.
And now we've gone into the Unchained part of the deck as well. Very solid combos with the Yubel cards. We have the Unchained Soul of Raid Sharvara in hand. We have the Yama on field already. And it looks like second Phantom of Yubel, so we've got both on the field.
If you're just getting that extra body to help continue his link climb that he's going for here. There we see the Uncertain Chill of Rage coming down.
So making a prediction of maybe future FNL lists. Phantom at 2 is slowing the deck down, but still very powerful. But
and then we're going to hear Chain Yama here to bring back the Rage, I imagine.
I'll let you, he says.
He's like, you know what? I could stop you. I'm not going to hold you, but, you know.
It's like watching an episode of the anime. Just great banter.
I'll allow it.
Yep.
Sure, why not?
Great sequence there. The Unchained cards are fantastic at getting resources back from the graveyard. We used Unchained Soul of Rage to get back our Fiendsmith cards, as well as Yama to
just feeling
get back
super
that
strong.
Spear to Yubel, and we're going to just keep going off here, yeah.
And here's the thing that I would say about Yubel is like the one thing that it has going for it that other decks don't is I cannot think of a deck that, if left unchecked, has a scarier turn 1 board.
Yeah,
it's maybe
terrifying.
Mermail and like the full like hand loop that they can do with like Moon and Glacia and stuff. But man, like the amount of interactions that Sam's gonna have at the end of this, I believe he's gonna get access to Chamber here pretty soon. He can be pretty awesome.
Clearly, you haven't seen my Snake Eyes Mimighoul turn 1 combo uninterrupted, but we'll talk about that later.
I forgot about Throne. Throne's a card. That's new. I forgot about that. You're
Hey,
right.
save it. We'll take it outside, boys. But in the meantime, looks like Fiendsmith Track is going to go ahead and grab that beautiful copy of Fabled Lure. You discard it and special summon it.
There's...
And I will say, Steven, it is a very scary Mimighoul combo. I've seen it up close.
Thank you. Thank you for
Very
at least
scary
backing me
shots.
up
Very
there.
scary.
Appreciate that.
Focusing on the duel at hand here.
Wait. How could you see it though? All the Mimighouls are face down. So like, how do you know what the board looks like?
But I
Because
actually want to bring
they're
something
face
up here. Notable, it's Abominable Chamber of the Unchained as the choice here for the trap. You kind of have choices when you're playing the Unchained cards, which one do you want to go for? And based on the combo that we've seen here, we're going to want to bring back the Unchained Soul of Rage from the graveyard.
Man, we talked about Varudris, and there it is.
Yep, it's hit the field.
The Chambers, I think, are a preferred option for Yubel players because it plays around a lot of the breakers that players will use, like an Ultimate Slayer or like a Dark Ruler No More, that can stop you from using your monster effects like Rage, and so you can just surprise your opponent with a Rage. Or you can, in theory, use Rage twice.
Super powerful starting field there again, and we're making a Fiendsmith's Desiree here.
Alex, like, surely Varudris is not allowed, but like, because this card's crazy, but it is.
It is.
Yeah.
Detach, negate, detach, destroy. Fun times.
Yep, and here I believe we see the Fiendsmith's sequence to fusion summon.
Yeah, it looks like it.
It's gonna
So
be
we're
bringing
not
out
even
Desiree.
done here. This is going to be a monster effect negate from the Phantom of Yubel, or at least a monster effect change. Doesn't
Yeah.
exactly negate. It just changes the
Arguably
effect
better,
to something
you know
else.
what
Yeah,
I
arguably better.
Like, how about instead of
Interact
doing
with
something that
more.
hurts me, you do something that helps me?
Yep.
But think about that. That means you have to use 3+ monster effects, or just the perfect combination of spells to get through this board, considering that you have to deal with Desiree, Varudris, and Phantom of Yubel,
And
whatever the
two
3
cards
set cards
set.
are. Wow.
So we know that the middle one is Abominable Chamber of the Unchained. We don't know what the other two are, or at least Alexander does not know. I didn't get a good look at it in the hand of Sam either.
It's probably some kind of like powerful breaker, or maybe even a bluff, like a triple tactics talents or something that he wanted to kind of hide from the opponent.
Yeah.
I thought
Not
I
invoking
supplied the
Joey.
anime.
Not invoking the late and great Joey Wheeler. Oh my,
My
goodness.
sister needs an operation. Well,
Hey, we're like, how many years in the future are we in the anime right now? Joey is definitely long since passed.
but Alexander's got his own sister, so let's see if he can win this Duelist Kingdom tournament. Come on.
Now,
But
what's
how
he
is
going to
he gonna
choose to
start?
go for? Yeah, so
Ooh.
it's Fiendsmith Ryzeal. There are options to play through intimidating fields, but this is a very intimidating field.
I actually really like Alexander's choice here to kind of play through the board here because learning how Sam uses the cards he has in play can actually be really useful in future games for how he can approach breaking it again in like a Game 3 scenario.
Oh, I saw Triple Tactics talent in hand there.
Could be a little bit of a bait then. We might be baiting Sam here
Yeah.
into going for a monster effect first before anything else. This is a great debate between players, you know, playing against Ryzeal. Do you stop the main deck monsters when you have the ability to?
Or do you try and stop the Xyz monsters once they actually hit the field?
I feel like result-wise, when we've seen on the stream Duo Drive be negated, that has been so painful for the Ryzeal players.
Yeah.
So at least on my end, I'm probably going to try to stop the Duo Drive. But to each their own, right?
I got to agree with you there, Steven. I feel like the Duo Drive is kind of the prime target that we've seen most of the other players go for in the feature matches walking around the venue so far. Let's see if Sam has the same idea. I mean, we expect at this point, I mean, round 8, you've probably played at least against Ryzeal once. It is a very popular deck at this event.
Mm-hmm. But I think if you're Sam, you're kind of sitting pretty. Like, right now, nothing's too threatening. Like, even if he goes for duo drive, we have the automatic check in Varudris if we need it. And that's what we have revealed to our opponent. Who knows what we have face down?
I mean, typical sets would be things like Infinite Impermanence,
Droplet,
Called by the Grave. Those are the
maybe bluffs like Talents, because if you do have Droplet, you want all your cards to be on your field and not in your hand, so that way you can get the most amount if you need it.
Yep.
Sam taking a moment here to think about this. Do you do anything since the monsters are on the field? They haven't quite combined into duo drive yet, and we're doing it.
Okay.
So I think we're going to try to go for Rage on the sword because it was special summon. So
then we can go into SP to banish the other one. Yeah, and notably we're keeping them out of the graveyard too. Or at least, I guess there'll be one in the graveyard.
I think. Ooh, and there was a Ghost Ogre.
But we still have the
Rabbit.
Phantom Yubel, so it may not be that impactful. There's also
Yeah.
Varudris, the first thing that Sam went and grabbed. So maybe he's just going to attach material to negate there.
Or just use Phantom.
Now, something that's interesting is if you want to go for Phantom here, theoretically, you can go into IP Masquerena rather than the SP straight off of this Unchained Soul of Rage and then still have more interaction afterward to see what the next play is from Alexander. But Sam knows these lines. Let's see if Sam makes a decision. You're going to go for the Vergers instead. Okay.
Going to attach material, but which one?
So we're
Oh,
gonna
he's
negate and
negating
destroy.
and destroying. Wow.
Yep, and there we see the Rage linking off.
Yeah.
The Sword Ryzeal going to be going. I like the idea of IP because that kind of brings out another extension, but there we go straight for the SP. Probably want to just banish some of the names out of the graveyard.
Yeah, I mean, this works just fine, too. There's no issue with this. It's just that now you can't use the SP to banish a card on the field, which would be a slightly more ideal target.
Like, honestly, if I'm Alexander, I would see this SP as like, you don't play IP in your deck, maybe, because it does seem like the most valuable play.
Yeah, and it is a very tight extra deck, so there is a chance that the room is just not there for the IP Masquerena as well. A lot of people have started to remove that, especially when you need all the Fiendsmith extra deck monsters, the Varudras, the Phantoms.
Sometimes multiple copies of each, too.
Yeah.
I don't think Alexander has used any of the Ryzeal effects that lock him into rank 4s, right? I think
Not
all
that
we
I
did
saw.
was normal summon Ice, and then we searched off Sword. Yes, we haven't summoned. So maybe there could have been an argument for Sam to wait until Alexander committed to summoning X from hand.
True.
Because now he has full access to Fiendsmith, which if there's any deck that can play through this many interruptions, it's a Fiendsmith archetype.
It absolutely is, but he may just be holding on to the Desiree for the perfect negate to basically stop him in his tracks. Right? Remember, he's playing Fiendsmith too, so we definitely know how it works.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're activating the Lurie. We searched it, discarded it, and it's going to be summoned. So Sam is letting Alexander play some Yu-Gi-Oh!
Like we said, like for Fiendsmith, it's always better just to stop the sequence than it is to try to interact with the actual main deck monsters because there are so many ways to get to these cards.
Sure, yeah.
That's just like bad card economy at that point.
Sam letting that go through, so Fiendsmith's Requiem is going to go ahead and get a Lacrima here, Crimson Tears.
Now this could be a Fiendsmith in Paradise Gambit if Alexander does have it in their deck. That could be pretty cool to see.
Well, Sam definitely doesn't want to see it, so certainly considering his options here. You might use the Phantom Yubel now just to grab a Spirit, but let's see.
Still 2 face downs. We still have the SP effect where we can banish 2 monsters on the field till the end phase.
Hey, let it go through, though. So we're going to go ahead and
we haven't
reach
used
into
the Desiree yet, right?
Oh,
No.
I did
Has
see
that
the
been used?
Fiendsmith in Paradise in the main deck there as he was flipping through, so it's definitely an option.
Yeah, I think you have more space for that in the Ryzeal deck than
Yeah,
in the
you
Yubel
definitely
deck.
play a much higher Fiendsmith engine for sure. Yeah, so I think we still have Desiree, we still have Phantom, we still have SP, and then we still have our 2 sets as Sam, which are still a lot of interaction. But,
yeah,
I mean, with Lacrina not being interacted with, we have ways to recycle more engravers. We can probably get into our extra deck, and we still have that X in hand. So, and X can send Mirror Logic Aggregator, too, which could be a disruption for one of Sam's disruptions.
We could
Honestly,
just be saving it till the end, you're right.
Alexander might be able to play through this board if he keeps going at this rate.
I will say Sam's pretty wise so far, not using the Desiree. That's the protection we have against the Triple Tactics Talent, which we can see is in the hand of Alexander.
Playing around
Obviously,
breakers
Sam
is
does
huge.
not know that.
But breakers are popular in this format right
Yes,
now, and so
very
he's probably
popular.
just always cognizant of, like, that's the only card that could super hurt me right now.
Yeah. Or things like, a lot of people are main decking Book of Eclipse. We've seen that.
Yeah.
Forbidden Droplet, if they don't send a monster with it.
Shows you there's a lot of different options you can choose. You don't have just one key card that shuts down the format.
Oh, yeah.
It's been fun to see the creativity of all the duelists and what they decided to bring.
This
to
tournament's
this
just
event.
been wild. Like how many different decks we've seen, how many different tech cards we've seen. It's like duelists are discovering decks for the first time all over again. So really great stuff across the board.
The extension available in some of these modern archetypes is just insane. Super powerful.
Hey, but the old stuff is still good, right? Phantom of Yubel is really just sitting there.
Oh yeah,
With
that
every
old
play, you're like,
Phantom of
yeah.
Yubel. Yeah.
am I gonna jump in this duel or not? So.
All right, Alexander's taking a lot of time to think about this next move here. There are, like we said, there's options. You have things to do.
The
Ryzeal
hard draw
plugin.
Ryzeal plug-in. That's one of the most powerful spell cards in this archetype. Going to be summoning from the Banish. It can do that.
Yep.
Usually a one-up, but it's nice to just draw it, you know?
Going to be allowing him to act as potentially his rank 4 engine again without needing to use his X Ryzeal in hand.
And it looks like we do have a slow play for Alexander there, so note that there will be a little bit of time added to the clock.
Yeah, just heads up for people out there. You have about, what is it, Steven? It's like 15 seconds per game choice?
So there's not any actual set time for slow play. It's just a reasonable pace of play. Because some duels, as we've seen on stream, maybe 25 minutes for your game one and that feature match with Joshua Schmidt, that's normal as long as they're continuing the pace of play. Remember, it is a Yu-Gi-Oh! Competition, so you can't slow down. And speaking of slowing down, we're not doing that. We're speeding up with Exciton Knight.
Okay. Exciton Knight, one of the older Xyz monsters, but still one of the best ones you can in the rank 4 engine.
House. Like, if your goal is to break a board, he'll get the job done.
And it's a light fiend, so you can also shuffle it back from your graveyard into the extra deck to do it all over again.
So there we see the Desiree being used to stop the Exciton Knight, which means we no longer have a way to stop a spell trap, I don't believe.
Oh, we use that instead of the Phantom of Yubel. Okay.
Holding this Phantom Yubel for the entire time is Sam. I wonder what he's trying to get mega value out of for doing that. Maybe trying to like wait until the last minute so he can always have a Yubel monster in play.
Yeah.
And protect his other monsters from being attacked, maybe.
I mean, you can still get another Yubel with the effect, so I'm curious if one of those other set cards can deal with something scary. It's going to be tough.
Big props to Alexander for playing through this turn,
Yeah.
man. Like, Sam's order was so daunting, but he has the extension just to keep playing through. We still have X'd in hand.
Yeah, and I know that Alexander got the slow play warning, but it's a new deck, just came out a couple days ago, has not had that much time to practice with it, but I think taking that time to really think, like, okay, what decisions do I need to make to play through what is on the field right now of Sam? As the SP Little Knight will finally use its effect.
Banishing that Engraver. Now, I definitely think Sam is more than happy to use the Phantom Yubel because that was the only card originally protecting SP from being destroyed in the battle phase.
Ooh, but here we go.
I feel like you have to take the Phantom Yubel here because remember, the Nightmare Pain is still egging on those attacks. Like, hey, come get me, and by the way, you're taking the damage.
That's right.
And something, you can say it for Malice, you can also say it for the Ryzeal, that just keeping two bodies off the field or two monsters off the field is a big priority when you're dueling against these decks. I think that's what Sam's been trying to do, but this Triple Tactics talent, like you said, if it just takes a Phantom Yubel, suddenly now you got two monsters, and I don't think we're locked into rank 4. Maybe we are.
No, we haven't. We haven't,
No?
we haven't summoned any of the Ryzeal monsters using their summon effects, and that's the only effects that locks you into rank 4s.
Oh, yes, you're right.
We are locked into attacking with
hard
rank
drew
4s.
the cross, yeah.
We can only attack with rank 4s because of plugin.
Yeah,
we are
plugin.
not locked into summoning anything
Okay.
yet.
It's actually kind of a heads-up way to avoid the Yubel conundrum, not only by taking the monster, but imagine if there was another Yubel or if Sam had a way to put it back on the field. If you lock yourself out of attacking with only rank 4s, but then don't put rank 4s on the field, you're not actually going for the Nightmare Pain.
They
It's a
have to
weird
attack
science.
if able. They have to attack if able.
If
True.
able. If able.
And here we see Alexander's own Moon of the Closed Heaven.
Okay.
Is this a... I was going to say, there's no way he plays Underworld Goddess, right?
Well, keep
Not
in
enough
mind,
monsters.
Moon of the Closed Heaven does have an effect.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Okay, now we're just going for the Typhon.
I was like, is it jump scare? I'm about to jump scare from
Right?
Underworld Goddess, baby. No, we're just gonna go for Typhon. Makes the most sense to me. Stops that Desiree from being a pain later in turns, I think. Oh, actually, no, he's still only 28 right now. I lied.
Okay, using the effect of the Typhon, Sam has 2 cards set.
Alexander saving this X until the very last moment because this X represents a 1-card detonator. He doesn't need anything else.
Wow.
Forcing out as many interactions as possible.
I mean, he can't
rank
summon
4.
any more, though,
Rank
because
4.
the Typhons hit the field.
But you're
so.
in bad. Unfortunate. Yep.
Is it rank 4 or no?
Unfortunately, Alexander got a little ahead of himself and began to attack, but he is locked into attacking with only rank 4s.
That is correct.
Amazing.
I love Sam's sense of humor. It's not rank 4. No,
Yeah,
it's, you can see the 12 stars, friends.
And also, once Typhon hits the field, he can't summon anymore. So that is going to, I think, just be the turn for Alexander.
Yeah, he chose to go to end phase. SP Lane
Yeah.
comes back.
Damn, you made a fool out of me. And then he hits me with a deck out.
But honestly, like, Alexander played through a lot of Sam's board. He pretty much got rid of every impactful interaction, and Sam's probably in... Like, how does Sam deal with his Typhon now?
I mean, maybe with the face down cards that have still been sitting there this entire time.
That's what I was going to say. Did he play through Sam's field? I mean, we don't know because there's 2 cards still set. Sam might have been able to stop more.
Well, we know it wasn't Imperm, because if it was Imperm, he would have played it during that turn, no question.
Most likely.
On Exaton Knight, that's so much value. And then you get to keep your Desiree still active.
Well, he's drawn for turn, so maybe we get to find out what Sam has face down.
I think they're bluffs. I think it's like talents and like maybe a droplet or an eclipse or something.
Yeah.
But you're not going to eclipse when you have cards on your board.
We do see Alexander had a Ash Blossom in hand. I believe I see that. So if he uses that, then if there is a triple tactic bluff set for Sam, then suddenly that's live now.
Didn't get a peek there. We got to see him look at him, but we didn't actually get to see what they were.
I really want to know what those cards are.
Did he top deck Samsara D Lotus?
Maybe.
I think he did.
That would be
I think
incredible.
he's just built different.
Well, he also has the Nightmare Pain, so he could always... Yeah, he did. Okay, he did just draw it.
Wow.
Time extension? That is no card damage?
There's the Ash
There's
Blossom.
the Ash for the Samsara D effect. Oh, man. What a top deck, though.
Yeah.
Does... I'm not sure what cards he has access to in his graveyard. I think he already shuffled back all of his Fiendsmith cards, so he doesn't have any in graveyard to start using their effects, right?
Now, does he have another Gruesome Grave Squirmer?
I
If
think
you're
he-
running 2, we still have the Nightmare Pain.
True, we can destroy one of our cards and go get one.
Yeah, SP has kind of served its purpose at this point.
Yeah, like Alexander would just go battle phase attack over it if he needs to, you know,
Yeah.
and then play all of his cards after that.
We'll see. Can Sam find the way?
Well, certainly those 2 cards have to be something. And hey, he's got 2 monsters, but I don't see why you would ever get rid of Fiendsmith's Desiree. But it's just a little too small to get over that Typhon.
Yeah.
And I will say this, we know they're not talents now, because if it was talents, I'm playing talents, I'm taking that Typhon,
Right
I'm going
over.
attack.
Uh-huh. Oh.
Interesting. So we're going to go all the way around the world, likely
Yeah.
returning that later.
We could go into, like, an engraver here and try and use that.
Like, I'm not my plays, you know, I'm still playing. Like, I'm...
Looks
Probably
like
just
we
gonna go
might
through
have
play
a
here.
slow play penalty on our hand this time for Sam's side. 1 apiece. Again, that's not a big deal. Again, you'll have that 3-minute time extension. So,
Like, I have to think through my plays, right? But, like, I'm not... It's not like...
and like I was saying, Sam's saying the same thing that I was, and we'll let our judges decide. But there is no set time on the tournament
Sure.
penalty guidelines for slow play.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
more like a pace thing. Like if you're going go, 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 you get like a little bit of time. But if you go like, whoa, whoa, and then you just like have like a big gap in between your plays there, it like is noticeable, you know, like
Yeah.
and the difference is like happening.
But we were talking about that Joshua Schmidt match that we just watched. Game 1 taking that 25 minutes. It looks like we're going to have another one
Is that all right?
taking its time because these duelists are, I mean, pretty evenly matched so far with what they've been able to do against each other. Nobody's taken any damage yet.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it looks like Sam has a more advantageous field position, but
I mean,
you never
we
know
see-
what Alexander could pull.
Like this is a match of fighting through boards. You know, it's been a slog for both these players. It's not the grind game we saw from like these control decks, like the Fiendsmith Cashiers or stuff. It's the grind games of, oh no, my decks are just doing a lot. Your deck is just doing a lot.
Yeah.
That just takes time to get through.
Speaking of getting through, just got a confirmation from our judge team. We are seeing a slow play penalty on Sam's side, so that will be
Okay.
another 3 minutes added on the board there. And while it doesn't mean anything now, Sam certainly can't repeat that mistake because multiple slow play warnings can receive an upgrade. So it's discretionary, but you just want to keep up, again, reasonable pace of play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got into the
and here
engraver,
we see
though.
the engraver effect to destroy, right?
Sorry.
By sending Requiem.
He's thinking through how he wants to do this.
I feel like you definitely get rid of the Typhon, but no, okay, looks like we're just going to move along.
Are you linked in? Then I go first. We'll have it. All right.
No legal target.
Okay. Yeah, Sam really taking his time to think, how do I want to pull this one off?
I bet you Sam was not thinking that Alexander was going to be able to play through that much of his board in that second turn here.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that's the effect I thought he was
So we
using.
have dealt with the Typhon now.
I believe we've already gone to our battle phase, or have we not? No, we got rid of the engraver with a different card.
And I'm wondering, unless I missed it and Nightmare Pain was used already, maybe this is telling that there isn't another Gruesome Grave Squirmer, because in my mind, you could just, you know, destroy your SP, go for that, summon it out, and at least you can get back into your Yubels in the graveyard. But I guess at the same time, we've gone through both Phantom of Yubels, so maybe you're less enticed to go for that. You're happy with the SP interaction on the field already, and that looks like it's what Sam's going to do.
Solid 34 damage. Gonna just be passing it back. I'm telling you, I think the face downs are like Book of Eclipse or something that like would be hurtful for Sam to play.
Could be.
Well, now he doesn't have any of those cards on the field anymore that he wouldn't want to flip face down.
Right.
So maybe we finally get to find out. I'm at the edge of my seat here in the back.
I'm like, what could those cards be? They're definitely not more copies of Nightmare Pain. Ain't no way he's playing two.
Well, I guess we'll find out soon. Rifling through the graveyard, certainly a lot of things in there that could be recycled for various Fiendsmith options. But you're right, we really are feeling the difference there with only 2 Phantom Yubels. Oh,
Yeah.
dropped a card. It's okay, we got judges there. Let me go ahead and pull that
No, it's fine.
off the table.
All right, well, Sam has done the first damage. It's 4,600 remaining for Alexander.
No damage has been dealt yet? This
Been
has
a
been
crazy
a crazy
duel.
grind right
but,
now.
But keep in mind, Alexander,
That's awesome.
we know the card that's in hand. It was X Ryzeal,
It's X
right?
Ryzeal.
Yeah,
But-
that is one of, if not the best single card that you could have in your hand. And it's an SP Little Knight
That represents...
to deal with it.
Yeah, that represents a single detonator plus a potential negate.
Oh, this is going to be interesting. I actually think now it's flipped.
It's your track. Yep.
Alrighty, so here we're just looking through the graveyard here, just want to get a full understanding of what resources Sam has access to.
All right. Okay. I'll go to my turn.
Also,
All
just
right,
realized
finally,
never
here we
used
go.
the Fiendsmith in Paradise effect.
Damn, I made it.
So Alexander still had that in the graveyard.
I'll activate right through.
I'm going to go ahead and send.
I'll shoot it for 1.
Oh, chaining
Wow.
Imperm on SP with turn player priority is super exciting.
Okay.
Great order of operations, too. Clearing the field, but before the effect resolves, negating the SP Little Knight. That's incredible.
Wow. Awesome top deck and play by Alexander right there. This guy is next to Lacrima again.
Activate Lacquer.
This is where I just send another engraver, if I had to imagine. Yep, just get that in rotation.
Shows you how competent the deck is of pure Fiendsmith, or at least these higher quality count Fiendsmith cards. It's just insane. Because earlier when we had Fiendsmith, think about the NEWCQ, they were sort of splashed in lightly, but when Rage of the Abyss came out, it just made it a whole new package.
100%.
I mean, Joshua Schmidt's showing us that you could just play pure Fiendsmith.
Yeah, just play the deck.
Go off with it.
Play 3 Fiendsmith Sanct, it's fine. They're good cards.
Now, I think that we are going to learn what those 2 set cards are for Sam any moment now, because as soon as that X Ryzeal hits the field,
If they're helpful.
if they're helpful, they're going to need to be very helpful, let me tell you. And we're still just playing with the Fiendsmith cards for right now here.
Again, just forcing out interaction. Like if Sam just goes, yeah, go ahead and do full Fiendsmith combo. I think Alexander's very happy if he gets to do that.
Right?
Oh my gosh, is this
It
Chaos
feels like
Angel?
Chaos Angel.
Is this Chaos Angel?
It's got to be Chaos Angel. Could be wrong. Commentator's curse.
Could be Sequence? Question mark?
Could be a decision to change the play.
Yeah, he committed to sending the cards
Yep,
away.
okay.
Yeah, so he has to bring out something that's legal materials here. I do see the Chaos Angel in the extra deck, but actually it's going to be
Sequence.
Fiendsmith Sequence,
Okay.
yeah.
Get access to our very own Desiree. That'll be super useful for, interacting with more cards in the board.
Oh, here it is.
It is the Book of Eclipse.
Oh.
Oh.
There we go.
You can always chain drop with
Oh.
Okay.
So your hand action is a legal activation, but what he can do is he can send that.
you. Yeah, you just do that.
and then nothing happens. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
And like I said, Book of Eclipse does way more harm to Sam on this, in future board textures than this. Simple mistake to make. They're both quick play spells.
Yep.
They're both quarter-century rares.
Yeah.
Still a legal activation though, so you got to stick to it. Not really a
That
procedural error
is-
mine or anything.
Yeah.
I know. It just is an activation of the effect.
I think Sam might kick himself a little bit for that, but it's all right. You can still try and play through it. But as I say, it's all right. We do still see that X Ryzeal in the hand of Alexander.
Oh, and that Book of Eclipse certainly would have helped to stop those exceeds.
yeah, that would have been the card.
Sorry, guys.
Hey, trust me. Everybody, hey,
Sam's apologizing to us.
I have made a mistake like that more times than I can count in more different games than I can even fathom. It happens to everybody.
Well, you have to remember, the YCS is a marathon, not a sprint. It's
It
not
is,
like
yeah.
Sam just woke up, you know, and got fully cleaned up just for this one duel. He has been going through duel after duel after
grueling.
duel all day, so
It's a lot of
eventually
duels.
things happen.
Yeah.
Plus, this might be a new inclusion for him too in his Yubel deck to kind of combat the current meta, and so he's just probably not used to incorporating it.
Well, I mean, when he flipped it, he clearly said, "Oh, wrong one." So I think he just thought that he put the Forbidden Droplet.
If you
in
saw
that
the hand
spot.
motion,
Yeah.
he did start sending the Fiendsmith Engraver to the graveyard as if he activated Forbidden
Yeah.
Drop.
Clearly
So it
in his
happens, it
head, he was
happens.
activating the right one. It's a rare mechanical misplay, but again, it happens. It happens in duels. We still have more Yu-Gi-Oh to play after this.
Oh,
but it's gonna be a
And here
tough
we
spot
see a fellow
for
mistake
Sam.
here from
Oh.
Alexander, attempting to use Requiem effect when he already used it to summon Lacrimer earlier this turn. I believe the effect to
We are well into game one here, everybody. We are 14 minutes on the clock, and Alexander hasn't even summoned that X Ryzeal from hand. That's going to take even more time to go through that line.
yeah. Oh, so it's not once per turn to the effect. Okay, cool. I was like, is it not once per turn? It's once per turn to summon it off of like other cards, but I think Requiem himself is not at all once per turn.
Seems so as we get the Fiendsmith Engraver out there on the field. But we haven't seen the SP Little Knight do anything yet, so...
Well, it wasn't hit by the Infinite Impermanence, right?
By that expert play from
Oh,
Alexander.
that's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
So that SP Little Knight is just minus
There.
1,600 damage when we enter battle phase.
Effectively.
It's really not going to do anything else. And there's nothing in Sam's hand. So this
Yeah.
is really just down to Alexander doing the math now. Can I, with one X Ryzeal, just push for 8,000 points of damage through the SP Little Knight, or at least do enough damage that if it comes down to the clock, you have it? I think that you theoretically can take this, though, I imagine. I'm trying to think what the line would be to get there, though.
To get the amount of damage. I mean, you know you can go into at least a rank 4 duo drive that can get you access to... I don't believe we normal summoned it all, so we can just get Ice Ryzeal added to our hand and get access to another rank 4. That's at least 6,000 damage. A little more than that, probably. 18 from the Engraver minimum.
Okay, remember when I said minus 16 damage? Never mind. That has
mind.
also been dealt with. Which, okay, let's think about it this way. In Sam's defense, I actually don't think that Book of Eclipse mattered, because this would have forced it out at some point anyway. So we would be essentially just Fiendsmith Engraver damage differential. Oh.
Wow.
Now we're going for Chaos Angel. Going to be banishing Nightmare Pain. Going to get rid of all of Sam's resources from this game and just go poke for 35 until the game is over.
Sam takes a look over at the extra deck.
Yep, so right now this is an unaffected Chaos Angel, but it does non-target banish on summon. Boom, 35. First damage on Sam's side.
45 to 46. Yep.
And now it's a Chaos Angel versus nothing.
Oh, right, X Ryzeal.
He just normal
One of
summoned
those
it.
things, if you normal summon it, but you control another monster, you don't get that effect.
Ah,
you
that's
need to
right.
have an open field.
And he didn't use the effect of special summon, so you're not locked into XYZs.
You're not locked into XYZs, and in order to use its effect to summon, again, you cannot have that Engraver on the field. Does make a lot more sense now, but that's really good news for Sam, because this is another turn that he gets to play.
I mean, I kind of like Alexander's sort of conservative play here of like just going, you know what, that Nightmare Pain gives Sam top decks
It does.
to get into his Yubel engine. I want to just deny him as much as possible, have this unaffected guy, and just coast him to the victory.
No, mistakes aside, earlier in the duel, both duels have done a great job basically showing the full complement of their grind game, right? Fiendsmith Yubel still a very powerful deck hanging in there at the same time. I mean, I don't think we were expecting a synchro summon at this stage of the duel.
Chaos Angel, one of the strongest synchro monsters that we see in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Play.
Sam's doing a really good thing here that I think most players should do, which is assess what your outs are in a game state like this. Like, what can I do?
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Right. Drop.
Yeah, just trying to assess what we can do and be like, how can I draw out of this? Oh, I don't think Sam offered the cut to Alexander.
Okay, so we're going to cut first. That's okay.
Yeah,
no
we
harm, no
shuffled,
foul.
we shuffled though. It's
Yep.
fine.
Great catch from our excellent judge team here. Let's see what Sam draws.
It's the correct thing for Alexander. Ask the judge, what do I do? Always look to your judges, duelists.
When you're lost.
They know the answer.
Or call one over if there's not one sitting right next to you.
It's convenient when they're right next to you, though.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah. I love sitting right next to a judge. Steven,
Thank you. I do
helps
what I
us go
can.
through a lot of things on broadcast.
It's just, you have to remember the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game is extremely complex, extremely intensive, but there's also the physicality of being a human being who has been here since, you know, whatever AM this morning.
Yeah.
You try your best, and all the great champions know what a marathon this is, and so that's why it's such a treat to watch people just give their all to this game, which is exactly what Sam's doing as he brings up Fiendsmith and Graver.
We've been seeing that for 35 minutes, everybody. We are under 10 left on the round. So if Sam can pick up this game win, that puts him in a fantastic position to take the entire match. Alexander's going to have to win very fast on the crackback.
Actually, it's been longer than 35 minutes because we had the 2 3-minute time extensions. It's been 41 minutes of dueling
If those have been added, yes.
If those have been added, if those have been added.
But that is important to note that if they haven't been added, there's a good chance we do have more than what's on there. We'll maybe get production to confirm if that has been added or not
But
yet.
I've
been so locked in on the game. I've not paid attention to the timer as much.
Ooh, we drew Lacrima for turn.
Ooh.
Do we have our own Chaos Angel in our deck, question mark? That'd be pretty cool.
I mean, again, the extra deck space is so limited for the Yubel. That would be pretty
Yeah, that's the one bummer
shocking for me to see.
about playing the Yubel deck, is you have just no space.
Yeah. Luckily, what you do have is access to a lot of really good cards. So, you know.
But they got to be bigger, though, since if I remember correctly, that Chaos Angel is unaffected by card effects. So you need the
3,500
biggest
attack,
boss,
too. It's hard to get bigger than that.
Ooh, and here we see the differences between these two decks.
Finally
Activating
see
the Fiendsmith in Paradise for Alexander, sending Desiree from his extra deck, and then on a new chain, just going to get rid of Sequence.
Wow. I mean, I had noted that it was still in the graveyard of Alexander during Sam's last turn. Wasn't used.
Didn't need it.
Didn't need it, and saves it for a much more impactful moment.
Sort of denying Sam his own Desiree.
And I'm hearing now from production the time has not yet been added to the clock. So once we hit 0 here, don't hit the panic button, anybody. We will still have more time.
It'll be 6 more minutes after that, so I guess that means we're at about 14 minutes and some odd seconds.
Yep. And there we see this, the Sequence going to the grave, or being sent to the grave, thanks to the effect of Desiree.
But what a Yu-Gi-Oh game, everybody. Let's just take a moment to appreciate. There's just 0 cards in either hand. There's 1 monster, 1 Yu-Gi-Oh card in play between both duelists.
And I want to remind everyone that after Sam's first turn, he had 10 cards in play.
Yep. This is, what turn are we on? It's got to be 7?
This is probably turn, in total, probably turn 5.
7?
Yeah, turn 5, because Sam went first, and this is his 3rd turn of the game.
Okay.
Yeah, so turn 5.
Wow.
Still
what a
very
grind game. And this is why Fiendsmith is such a strong strategy to incorporate in your decks right now. You can just keep playing when it feels like you should have no play.
Again, I think the Yubel going first board, as we saw in Game 1, is very impressive.
And a reminder, you see 4 minutes, 10 seconds on the clock. We will add 3 minutes per slow play warning, which would be a total of 6. So we're at about 10 minutes left in the round.
Did Alexander resolve Pulos in the draw phase?
He did. He
Nice.
did.
Like
Beautiful, beautiful. Just wanted to clarify.
It's going to make Sam's job a little harder.
Taking a second for that spell card. So in the options, maybe
Looks like
doesn't
triple
want
tech
to use that.
thrust, I think?
It was thrust, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe considering just drop the thrust now, get whatever options you need, maybe feel something out from your opponent. But he also may want to wait to see like an Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring.
Yeah.
There we see the thrust coming down.
We're just doing it. And it is fine, indicating there may not be anything.
Now, what do we want to go for here? Notably, it was not activated in the main phase, so we can't search for talent. I mean, we're only going to be able to set it. We can't activate this turn. Is it just a
Is that
infinite
the nose?
impermanence?
Very cool.
Wow.
That is a super hot tech for the side deck when dealing with specifically Ryzeal. For those that don't know, that card, when it activates, will basically reduce all the levels of the cards on field and in Alexander's hand for the entire turn.
But wait, there's more. You could also banish it from the graveyard for practically the same effect. So it's 2 bites at the apple to keep everything locked down. Because remember, it's not like you could just make a rank 3 Xyz. The Ryzeal effects lock you specifically into rank 4 Xyz monsters. So you're stuck.
And the annoying thing about the Ryzeals is that they can play through one form of interaction, one Mischief of the Gnomes effect. They might just be able to get enough from the deck or, like, you know, potentially link them off, get them back from the graveyard that they still could get to one. So that second activation is actually so good. And we have a Phantom as well.
Again, like you're saying, Steve, that's probably a big up to playing the Fiendsmith version of Ryzeal, is you have ways to stop the most common counters. D-Barrier and Mischief of the Nose.
The draw phase, Mischief of the Gnomes, that does work at the hand. That's like a cost down style effect.
Okay, letting the ice go through. Phantom of Yubel is something that we know is on the field that can interact, where I didn't get a good look at Sam's hand to see what other cards might be lurking in there.
I think I saw some more. I think I actually saw another card from his side deck inclusion, Red Resonator. Going to be probably a pretty useful card in case he wants to, get that little bit of life point damage to kind of get the difference and win in time.
I believe if it's special summoned, you pick a monster on the field and then you gain life points equal to its attack, right?
Exactly, yeah. Just get that nice little difference in his favor.
I mean, you're still down a duel, though. That's not going to matter here.
A tie's better than a loss, though, on the record.
It's true. You get a draw, 1 point to each duelist, or if he gets a loss, no points to him. Well, his opponent sops up 3 points to his record, so gotta be careful here, but a draw might be the best thing that Sam can hope for, so let's see what happens.
Okay, Fiendsmith tracked, drawn in the opening hand for Alexander. Gonna be able to go into that. And we're at 1 minute left on the timer currently. A reminder that there were 2 slow play warnings given in the first duel, so we will add 6 more to that timer once we hit 0.
Still plenty of duel left to figure out how this matchup is going to end. I think the best case scenario is that it ends in a tie for Sam, or best case scenario for Alexander, it ends in a win, obviously.
It's like we're considering the Lurie or the Engraver, but the Engraver gets the pick.
And then we got to discard a card from hand. Going to get rid of that X Ryzeal. At this point, we don't have access to Xyz monsters anyway, so we just don't need to lock ourselves.
Yep.
We've already committed our normal, so X Ryzeal is just a useless card.
But like you had said, the fact that it's Fiendsmith Ryzeal means that something in Mischief of the Gnomes just means that, okay, these are just cards that will go into the Fiendsmith cards at this point. And that's going to be the field that we try and build.
Are there any Fiendsmith cards that require levels? I don't think so.
Do not think so either.
I do think Desiree being a level 6, though, when it comes out will be funny, if anything else. Because that means you can't use Paradise.
It's actually a really good point.
Yeah, that's right.
What if you get 2 Desirees, you go to DDD High Wave King Caesar.
Aha!
that would be so awesome if he just hard makes a Caesar like that.
But it's okay. It's okay.
Okay, so there's the Moon of the Closed Heaven from those 2 Ryzeal monsters. Yep, so they're just announcing the time extension now. It is now updated on the clock for everyone watching at home as well. That is now the official timer for this match.
And there we go. Alexander going to continue to play.
Going into the Requiem.
Now Requiem is going to bring us a new card, and this time it is... Taking a quick cycle through the deck again, but nope, looks like Lacrimos, the Crimson Tears, the Lacrima back in action.
Going to be sending that Paradise to just get that extra interaction, I imagine. Again, just noting that Sam is being very patient with this Phantom of Yubel, waiting for the opportune time to use his interaction.
It could possibly be the last time he interacts.
Phantom of Yubel still can do a lot to shut down play options for Alexander, but another option for Alexander is to just, try and play to the clock, 450. If he sends it back to Sam, Sam's not going to have a lot of time to make decisions on his turn.
Are we about to see a another KS Angel Gambit?
Just finish him about not be destroyed by battle.
I'll activate it for Sure. Then I'll use Raver for both.
So as we continue here,
Sense, right?
the possibility is slim, though, for Sam, because, again, his best-case scenario is a draw. If he is able to somehow get Alexander's life points a little bit lower here, then it would be 1 win apiece, and therefore they would be tied, so each player would walk away with a draw. But right now, there really isn't that much of a chance that Sam actually wins this duel, because he'd have to win now, we'd have to get through side decking, and he'd have to win again.
This is actually a really cool interaction that just happened right here. Alexander attempted to use the Engraver effect, I think, to destroy the Phantom Yubel, and then Sam was just like, no, I'll just chain it. Change that effect to let me destroy your Spirit from my deck and then bring out regular Yubel from my deck.
Yeah. Forcing out the activation makes sense for Alexander. But a reminder that they can't really go into the Ryzeal stuff because of that Mischief of the Gnomes. So we've already done a few of the Fiendsmith things. There's a good chance that there's not much left to do. You don't want to get another slow play warning, so at some point he will have to pass.
We actually can't summon Chaos Angel. Their levels are off.
That is true. Yeah, so it's a 3 and a
forgot about
5
that.
right now. You'd have to have even better
Maybe
on the field.
Chaos Cherubini once they release that one.
So actually, couldn't know. That would be 11. There's no math for that.
I thought you had to respond to something. That's why, like, it's been.
Oh,
Okay, sure,
Yeah.
on something, sure.
no, I'm not gonna say anything.
Oh, okay, sorry.
It just said from the deck or
Okay,
upgrade.
yeah.
Yeah, Fiendsmith Paradise can send from deck and extra deck. It doesn't actually have to send from the extra deck. So you can do all kinds of things. It actually could be an extender for you for your Fiendsmith combo.
Exactly.
But also an interrupt if you need it.
It's a great card. I'm really glad to see that it's being played. Now, obviously, with Lacrima and the Crimson Tier, sending it from the deck to the graveyard makes it very much more accessible than it was in the past. But I almost feel like if we play like a Time Wizard format from this summer, I'm going to go ahead and use some Foolish Burial Goods just to send that before Lacrima even existed.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Something that players just didn't think about then. And again, duelists are just, they're discovering more. Duelists get smarter every day. It's just so cool to watch.
And I imagine Paradise gets even better once we have, if like we got rid of the FNL list and instead have the Fusion Lacrima again. Ooh, that card's crazy.
Oh, that would be crazy.
2 minutes, 8 seconds on the clock.
Ooh, and here we see the first Agdom Day.
Yeah. Oh, true. Now, if the turn goes back to Sam, we see the red Resonator in hand. If he can try and get to a point where he can special summon that, then he can target a monster on the field, gain attack equal to its or gain life points equal to its attack. But you need to get to a point where you can special summon it. The Unchained cards are great at doing that, but it takes time. We talk about this as a physical game. You actually have to move a lot of cards around in order to achieve that. And Alexander so
I really wish I
far.
had my calculator. Don't tell nobody I work at Math Agent.
Alexander certainly has math as part of his job description, but maybe having trouble here adding it up.
You know what? I'm not gonna do that.
So I think we're debating on using an effect that inflicts damage and life points.
Let's see if the judges are paying close attention here.
So we're specialing Ice by sending a card from our field or hand to the graveyard. From this point forward, we are now locked into rank.
We are. Is it going to be Gaga Gaga Cowboy?
We can't Xyz summon because of
Oh,
the
that's
Mistress of
right,
the
the
Gnomes.
Bishop of the Gnomes.
I'll pay 500.
Yeah, we're just gonna get that good old-fashioned attack, get as much damage as possible. So we got 500. I think Ice is 1700 attack, something like that.
17. Yep.
Yep, 17. Beautiful.
Ice 17, yep.
And then Agdom Day is 18, I think.
58, right?
So in total, it's going to be, if my math is correct,
4,000.
4,000, yeah.
Solid 4,000.
And that's going to be a lot more than Sam should be theoretically able to gain.
Yep, because now we have the Desiree, and now we attack again.
Only from extra deck.
Do we lock ourselves in summoning period or only from the extra deck? I actually don't remember.
Attack for.
I believe it's only from the
Extra
extra
deck.
deck.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, so we can still summon from the grave.
You know.
And
here
that's
we go.
the